would you explain to somebody like who sees himself as very mainstream, somebody like Mitt Romney, who says he supports this because he's anti-abortion, how would you explain the implications of this measure?
Well, a lot of Mississippians are very conservative, as most people know. The vast majority of them say they're pro-life. So, I have to talk to Mississippians every day who are like Mitt Romney. And the way I talk about it is that it's big government going way too far. It's government making personal health care decisions. It's government getting in between doctors and their patients in the emergency room. And since there are no exceptions for rape or incest or the health of the mother, so many doctors groups have come out against this initiative. And, mainly we just talk about how it's government going too far, and that scares people.
The issue of the potential ban on birth control, and I know this is something that's been discussed a lot and that is being contested by people who are advocates of this initiative and to a certain degree. Is birth control becoming a central part of the debate in Mississippi?
It is. The problem is most people don't understand how birth control works. In Mississippi, we have a lot of abstinence-only education, so we have the highest teen pregnancy rate in the country. And, a lot of Mississippians don't understand the biology of how babies happen. So, and a lot of people sort of refuse to accept the science of it, which is rather frustrating. So we talk a lot about how, it thins the uterine wall and why that would affect birth control. But people are starting to get the gist of it and understand that this is a dangerous initiative that could, have far-reaching implications for Mississippians and families across Mississippi.
In terms of your decision to become so active in the campaign against this personhood initiative, what's the connection? And I feel rude even asking you, so do not answer if you do not want to. But I do feel like I have to ask the connection between you surviving this horrific crime 20 years ago, and you've been willing to talk about that and put that out there, and when you've been advocating against it. What's the connection between you surviving that crime and why you are willing to speak out on this issue?
Well, I just felt like I had a strong platform to talk about it. I mean, obviously, when I was abducted and raped and shot twice, I didn't get pregnant. But if I had gotten pregnant, I would have had no options. And if I had gotten pregnant, if I had been forced by the state government to bear that child, it could have killed me physically, if not emotionally. And when I tell people about what happened to me, I feel like it's pretty hard for people to look me in the eye and say, you shouldn't have a choice. You shouldn't be able to make your own decisions about your own health care. You should the state government should really make that decision for you. I don't mind talking about what happened to me, and I feel like it gives me a strong platform to discuss how dangerous this could be for Mississippi women. It's taken control away from Mississippi women, and I think that they deserve to make their own decisions about their health care with their doctors, and have all the options that, other people in America have.
You are obviously a very strong person, and it's impossible to imagine you being intimidated by anybody, I think, at this point in your life. You just don't seem capable of it. But I wonder if,
maybe so.
more broadly, if there is an intimidation factor that goes along with speaking out against this. Is that an issue for people who might be against this personhood amendment in Mississippi?
Well, sure. It's been really hard for a lot of Mississippians to stand up and say they're against this initiative because the mainstream conservative Mississippi people just immediately said, "Oh, yeah, sounds like a good idea," because on the surface it looks like it's about abortion and that sort of thing, but the people in Mississippi are starting to see that it's about way more than that, and the implications go so far beyond that. Making IVF unavailable, and outlawing birth control, and ectopic pregnancies is a whole other issue. They're very common thing to happen, and there's so many dangers, and really I'm feeling that the momentum is changing in our direction as more and more Mississippians are finding out about how far-reaching this is. It's not just simply life begins at conception. It does way more than that when you define a person as a fertilized egg.
Kristen Hemmons of Mississippi, thank you for talking to us about this campaign. It is a remarkable campaign to watch from a distance. Let us know how things go heading up to the vote on November 8th. We'd love to stay in touch.
I'd love to, and I'd love to just say we could use any help we could get from your audience. Vote no on 26.org. I'd love to be able to share my story with more Mississippians, and the way to do that, we'd love to buy more commercials. So if your audience could go to vote no on 26.org and donate $5, $10, $15, it would really help in our educating Mississippians about the dangers.
Kristen Hemmons, thank you very much for being with us tonight. I appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
All right, our producer Julia Nutter followed some Occupy Wall Street protesters today as they took a day trip to big Midtown New York bank headquarters. Greetings, financial overlords. How's our money doing? More on the worldwide Occupy movement coming up next. And in just a few minutes on The Interview, comedian Sarah Silverman is here.